What's going on, guys? Evan the Dark Souls enthusiast here, bringing another Dark Souls gameplay commentary on the Xbox 360. We are in the coveted and beautiful city of Anor Londo, City of the Gods. We took a little break from the video series in that I said this was not a Let's Play and that I was not going to show every area I traversed, and I started to realize that I was actually commentating and showing every single area I traversed, and that would be more appropriate for a Let's Play. The purpose of the videos is to show areas significant to the character development, or areas that I just want to commentate and I think are relevant to the bosses. There were some miracles in the painted world, but nothing that Elly will wind up using, nothing particularly useful on her character. So I went ahead and picked up from Anor Londo here, getting past the two White Knight archers, which is one of the more difficult areas of the game to get through alive. If you didn't notice, I am using a fog ring to make it easier. The fog ring makes it harder for knights to see you. Dragon's Crest Ring helps with that as well, in that you make no sound. Between the fog ring and the Dragon's Crest Ring, you can actually move up on those white knights pretty easily before they actually take notice of you. I actually kept my Havel's ring on because I was too lazy to switch out my equipment to lower my weight, and because the invincibility frames on rolls are actually much greater if you have the Darkwood Grain Ring, which is, you know, just another use the Darkwood Grain Ring over any other ring. That might be the last major item imbalance in the game, is the fact that Darkwood Grain Ring is pretty clearly the best ring for PvE or PvP. There are very specific character builds that might not use it, but they're few and far between. And I've talked about the Darkwood Grain Ring before, and let there be no doubt that it remains, you know, the all-powerful ring of Dark Souls, and you have to work really hard to convince me to wear anything else. But that said, this video walkthrough, rather this commentary, it will walk you through the more important areas of Anor Londo, through the castle here, all the way through Ornstein. I actually won't be commentating the fight with Ornstein because, well, for two reasons really. One, I had a fully upgraded Pyromancy's Flame, which really makes it a lot easier. You can just spew flame on him and take him down quick with greater combustion. You'll see Soltaire here, you know, Brotaire, great guy to talk to. He can actually help you in the Ornstein and Smoug fight, but he's not that helpful. He just tanks damage there for a while, and you'd be better off summoning a player if you get stuck. It is important to talk to him, though, if you're hoping to finish his quest line, or if you're just looking to see him die later so you can get his full item set. Spoiler alert, I guess. But anyway, you know, I probably am going to let Soltaire die. I don't see myself saving him this playthrough. I would like to have one copy, or, you know, a quantity one of his item set, so he'll probably have to die for that reason, which is unfortunate because, you know, he's my bro. But unfortunately, Brotaire can live on the next playthrough, but this time he can go insane and get dominated by the Sunlight Maggot Helm or whatever's going on. So yeah, the last commentary we stopped in Sense Fortress, and of course this time we are all the way in the second half of Anor Londo. The first half of the way through Anor Londo is pretty linear, and the Painted World is also pretty linear. The reason I didn't commentate either of them was there's nothing of significance there, like I said, and more importantly, I don't know, it would have been a pretty lousy commentary. It would have been like maybe a 1.5 hour journey through the Painted World, just because I kept getting invaded and stuff like that. And I think I got invaded 10 times in the Painted World because I was in human form and I was being stubborn, and I kept going back to human form. And I think I won like 4 out of 10 invasions. It's a pretty embarrassing ordeal, really. So I decided it'd be better, rather than trying to edit all that and make a coherent clip out of it, I just decided that we'd pick up here in Anor Londo. So if you're hoping to see, you know, the Painted World, the first half of Anor Londo, sorry, that won't be coming on this channel, at least not on this character's playthrough. Maybe later I'll do sort of a full Let's Play, but that'll be probably on a PvE character as opposed to a PvP-oriented character. This is primarily walking us through the steps of creating a PvP character, and I've got a long way to go, but thankfully I've pretty much got the completed character build saved on my hard drive on my Xbox, and all that's left is to commentate all the parts in between. I'm not real sure what I'll wind up uploading, what I'll wind up cutting. I've got a lot of footage saved up. I pretty much started just recording every area I went through just to see, you know, keep the best bits, cut out the bits that don't have anything important. My only regret is, in the Painted World, I unfortunately did not record my fight with the boss, Priscilla, or whatever her name is, the Life Hunt Scythe chick. You know, it's an interesting fight, and I really wanted to upload it, but unfortunately, I failed to record it for whatever reason, and there's a lot of bits and pieces missing from the Painted World, but, you know, life goes on. There's plenty left to commentate, plenty left to do. This secret passage here takes you to Havel's armor set, and watch out, there is a mimic down here, a killer treasure box. Havel's set is, of course, one of the best item sets in the game if you can put up with the weight. Even if you can't put up with the weight, wearing a couple pieces is normally pretty effective on most characters. I unfortunately think Havel's armor just looks terrible, so I really won't wear it on any character unless the character is just going to wear the full Havel set and just be a sort of a walking tank. But I don't, Elly will not be that character. It is cool that the Dragon's Tooth is Havel's weapon and is of course unbreakable. Not really a very practical or powerful weapon, but neat to carry nevertheless. Just about all of Havel's set's pretty cool. It just looks pretty lame. You look like a giant walking boulder, really. And he is called Havel the Rock for a reason. I mean, great armor set, very powerful, highest defense in the game. No real complaints except I don't really want to look like a giant boulder. I mean, it's just not my thing, like giant rolling boulder. Maybe in Sin's Fortress to fit in with the environment. Okay, bad joke is bad. Anyway, plenty of time left in this commentary. There's not a whole lot for me to narrate with Anor Londo. It's actually pretty straightforward. Dealing with the White Knights it's very similar to dealing with a Black Knight, only they're like an underpowered Black Knight. Take a shield hit and poke away, slash away, or if that's not really your thing, you can circle straight for backstabs, things like that. Pretty much anything that worked on the Black Knights will work on the White Knights. It's not a big deal. If you are interested in farming, the White Knights are actually a pretty decent place to farm from the bonfire, because if you have the right weapon, you can one-shot backstab them like I can with my stock. If I put on my Hornet's Ring for increased backstab damage, then I can one-shot backstab and just run around here farming. Farming White Knights is a pretty good place to farm. You get a lot of souls, but more importantly is the fact that you can get some of the White Knight's gear. The White Knight shield is actually the highest stability shield that isn't a great shield, so if you're looking to parry and stuff like that, then it's your best bet. It's just a solid shield overall, and after the patch it became arguably the best medium shield. I always preferred the Black Knight shield because it had 95% fire resistance, which was great against Pyro Glove people or just, Quailag and Bed of Chaos and stuff like that. Now, it's a tough choice to make because it's not just, of course, killing the Sword Knights can also get you their sword and their spear and their shield, the two weapons in the shield, all of which are worth having. Now, to be honest, I've never personally used the sword. I've never made a dexterity character, at least never gone past like level 12, so I've never had the 22 dex to wield it, nor have I gotten further enough to pick it up on a dexterity character. But I've heard good things about it. People on the Game FAQs Meshets board really like the move set. It's got good range, apparently. Probably a solid weapon overall, particularly if you take it up to plus 15, then buff it with your chosen buff. Sunlight Blade might be cool. Be kind of a cool like roleplay character, like Dark Moon Talisman, be a White Knight, because the White Knights protect Guinevere, and Guinevere, if you didn't know, is actually an illusion created by Gwendolyn, the Dark Sun, who is the sort of the demi-fallen god, son of Gwen, the big baddie of the game. But in any case, if that was something you're into, like the role-player themed characters, I could see that being a pretty cool build, like the White Knight Protector of Guinevere, join Blades of the Dark Moon in your full white set, and then use Sunlight Blade buffed off Dark Moon Talisman. Be a pretty cool character build, pretty straightforward, one-dimensional, but sometimes the best characters are the one-dimensional ones because you don't have to divide your stats between a whole lot of things. Unfortunately, Sunlight Blade only gives you one cast per stack, so you probably have to do 2 to 3 playthroughs to get 3 buff stacks. You wouldn't want to go into PvP with just 2 stacks. That wouldn't be adequate, which would be 3 playthroughs to get, or at least 2.5 playthroughs to get 3 stacks of Sunlight Blade. It's unfortunate that a lot of the stuff you want to use like that, you have to play through the game multiple times to get stacks of. And I get why they did that, but I don't know, sometimes it's just really inconvenient. Apparently, I want to see if you can light the fireplace. That guy's message said try fire, and I realized I'd never really tried to light the fireplaces, and clearly you can't. That would have been cool if it opened a secret passage. It was like a neat little Easter egg. You can see these guys are no match for Elly. Elly is easily overprepared for Anor Londo and everything therein. She's, I think, soul level like 100-ish at this point, so she's way, way further than she needs to be. And she has a fully upgraded Pyromancy's Flame, a boatload of powerful miracles. She's more than ready for Ornstein, which is probably the come-to-Jesus boss fight in this game. Sorry, I'm scratching my head a little bit of an itch. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a Come to Jesus boss fight is, I guess it's sort of when the game gets real, when things actually get challenging. They are pretty hard now. I handle them pretty well because Pyromancy Flame's a great way to deal with them, and I'm just used to the fight. But if you're under-leveled, under-geared, you know, if you're not adequately prepared, it can be a tough fight. In like all the boss fights, if you don't know the fight, you can die easily. I mean, even the easiest bosses in the game, if you don't know the fight, it can be pretty tough. You know, I died numerous times to bell gargoyles the first time I fought them, so I certainly can't make any claim that I'm like a natural beast at this game. I had to go through a learning curve like everyone else. I'd like to think I'm pretty proficient now. I know where pretty much all the items are and stuff like that, and it's funny, you know, I can... well, I'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, I'll talk about this guy's questline. Once again, his questline is long and complicated, and there's really... I really don't want to try to explain it all here verbally. You'd be better off just reading a wiki page or waiting for the other installments of the videos, because I walk through each step in doing his questline. But for this portion here in Anor Londo, you find him down here in this room. Probably don't describe where to find him because the video showed you right there, right? But basically, you there's going to be 3 white knights in the next room, and he's stuck. He can't get past them, so basically you need to go in there and take care of him for him. No big deal, but he'll be pretty thoroughly impressed, and that's what's important. Completing this will actually get you the Miracle Force, not to be confused with Wrath of Gods or Shockwave, or not Shockwave, I'm sorry. Force, because there's Force, like, there's miracles of similar, similar animations to me. There's Wrath of Gods, Force, and Emit Force. Force is, of course, just a little explosion of force around you. Doesn't do any damage, just knocks people away from you. Emit Force is you make an enormous ball of, like, basically you make the Spirit Bomb from Dragon Ball Z, you throw it at somebody and it blows up in AoE. It's pretty cool. Maybe not that practical, but pretty cool. And of course the mother of all miracles is Wrath of Gods, which you've seen me use extensively, and soon you'll see me use it extensively in PvP. I think in addition to these videos, I'm going to be uploading a large series of PvP videos, because maybe not immediately right after, but pretty soon after I got through Anor Londo, I actually went ahead and joined the Dark Moon Covenant and got enough kills in the Dark Moon Covenant, or enough... Yeah, I invaded like 10 people and got 10 souvenirs of reprisal, which was enough to get Dark Moon Talisman and Dark Moon Blade. But if you're not in the Covenant, Dark Moon Blade is useless, so... I haven't really decided. I originally intended that Elly was going to be a member of the Sun Brothers for sure, but now I'm not real sure I'm interested in Greater Lightning or Sunlight Spear, because it's really expensive to carry. I'll definitely join Sunlight Brothers next playthrough with Gwyn Soul just to get all the miracles in the game. For the trophy, I don't actually have, or the achievement rather, I don't actually have the achievement for carrying all miracles on one character, so I'll want to wrap that up for sure. But there isn't any sense in doing it this playthrough because I didn't have Gwyn Soul anyway, so probably in the next playthrough I'll go ahead and offer Gwyn Soul so I can get all the miracles. And I don't really see myself co-oping. I find co-op a little boring. I like to get invaded, so it'd be cool if I would just like go in human form and stand around in the kiln of the first flame to try to get invaded and win some stuff, but you have to worry about your upkeep of humanity, and there's just a lot of overhead on that. I think I would probably have more fun if I just went to the Dark Moons and invaded the worlds of the guilty. Not as convenient as Dark Wraith, but far more convenient than Sun Brothers in terms of getting some PvP. Although I would like to have that Gold Phantom and that Gold Soul Sign. That does look pretty sweet. But being the Dark Purple one's pretty cool too. Of course, in doing so, I'm going to have to take advantage of that Covenant. Dark Moonblade's pretty much the biggest perk you get out of it. And to make Dark Moonblade good, you have to have something at plus 15 that you can equip and give the beats with, which wouldn't be a big deal. I'd probably make like a plus 15 Bandit Dagger, equip that, and then one-shot people. I don't know, I haven't decided what weapons I'll be creating on my next playthrough. I'll have the vast majority of the equipment I need on this character. I might just make a whole bunch of Shodel variants. And of course, here's the White Knight set, which is one of my favorite item sets. I would argue that it's not very good or competitive, but whatever, it looks cool, and I usually wear armor for appearance. Now, fortunately, my item setup, which will be shown in later videos for Elly, I think looks sweet and is actually competitive. And I went through great lengths to acquire all the different pieces and stuff like that. And it's an odd mixed match of equipment because getting the maximum poise for your weight and your weapons usually requires a bit of mixing and matching. There are some good all-purpose setups, but I didn't use any. I kind of made a custom look, custom set. Overall, I'm pretty happy. I reached my 55 or 54 poise breakpoint, whatever it is, and that's really what I wanted. These guys, I find these enemies really annoying. They're cool, but they're just more of a pain than anything else. But once you have a fully upgraded Pyromancy's Flame, even the toughest enemies become inconsequential. Now, once again, I feel like there's a hidden room in here, and I don't think there actually is, but ever since I missed the Wolf's Ring in my earlier commentary, I felt really bad, because I'm trying to show everything of significance for Elly, and every now and again she slaps on the Wolf's Ring. Very, very rarely, but from time to time. That's no big. I think that's really all the items in Anor Londo that will actually benefit my character. At this point, I'm just chopping away at walls like an idiot. In this series, you will see me avenge Laurtrec as he killed the Firekeeper, of course, in the Firelink Shrine. In fact, he actually kills her right after you get the Firekeeper Soul in Blighttown. Immediately after acquiring that, it triggers him to kill the Firekeeper in Firelink Shrine. So I look forward to avenging her and bringing back my Firekeeper in Firelink Shrine, because it's just really convenient to have her around. And furthermore, it's a fun little invasion for Laurtrec. I kind of screwed up, though, because I forget that you can't flask as a Phantom. Now, I would have remembered that in traditional player versus player on an invasion, because, of course, the invading spirit doesn't get to flask and the defending spirit does, but I kind of figured that since it was, like, player versus computer NPC, that the normal rules wouldn't apply, but they did, so I had to... I was going to try to make it like an epic duel with, like, I'd put on, like, a low-damage weapon and we'd just go at it for a while, but given that I wasn't healed and I couldn't heal in the fight like I thought I could, I had to take out all the stops and just blow them out. And I unfortunately cannot remember right at this moment how to get out of here, and of course, you were probably all thinking the exit's right behind you through the little bars, and that's obviously, of course, true. I just couldn't remember, wasn't looking around, but now I see it and everything's fine. Flask up, which was kind of a wasted flask because the fall wouldn't have killed me either way, so really no need to panic like that. This, of course, brings me down to where the giant blacksmith is. For the record, there is a set of stairs right on the right there. In the room with the blacksmith, there's actually a set of stairs that you don't have to drop down every time you want to see them, but I dropped down the first time to grab the item upstairs there, so okay. I know I'm going to have to bonfire before I fight Laurtrec or before I fight Ornstein and Smog, so I'm just kind of blowing all my pyromancy spells, and everything's going to get refreshed at the bonfire, so I figure I might as well have a little fun and use this ridiculously expensive and powerful Pyromancy's Flame. That's one thing about the Pyromancy's Flame. While it is an incredibly good item, it takes a tremendous number of souls to fully upgrade, and I have no complaints about it. I don't think it's an overpowered item at all, especially because all characters theoretically have access to it if they want to. The only real requirement would be dumping some points into attunement to get more use out of it. Because, I mean, I guess you could keep like one attunement slot and just have greater combustion going, but it doesn't seem ideal to me. If I were going to even carry the Pyromancer's Glove in an alternate weapon swap, I'd want at least 3 attunement slots, which is less than 19 attunement, because 19 is 5, so it's probably like 13 or 15. I think it might be 12 attunement. Anyway, I don't remember the exact attunement number, but I think it's like 15-ish will get you 3 slots, so if you're going to carry on a Pyromancy's Flame worth the upgrade, if you're not going to, then you'd probably just be better off putting another weapon on your swap. The Pyromancy's Flame, of course, weighs nothing, so if you're like me and you've reached the sort of the bare minimum of your encumbrance, like I can't really increase my encumbrance even by a pound. I think my final weight's at 39.5 out of, of course, 40, so I can't really equip anything except like maybe a parrying dagger. I have the choice of like a parrying dagger or that might be it. Anything else that's 0.5 weight, but not a whole lot of that. Of course, right now I'm looking at my various upgrades I can make. I don't know if I make anything in this video. I don't think I do. I don't see myself converting my boulder shield into a crystal ring shield. The crystal ring shield post-patch pretty much sucks. Still a neat item, looks cool, all that good stuff, but post-patch it basically kind of sucks. I'm not a huge fan. Of course, there's the steps going upstairs a couple seconds ago in the video, and I'm doing a quick turnaround here to hit the shortcut gate. I have to admit, when I invade Anor Londo, the first thing I look to see is which shortcuts are open, where are their enemies dead, are their life bars popping up, because Anor Londo, when you invade someone in Anor Londo, it's a big place. It can actually be really tough to locate an enemy to fight, so I spent a lot of time just looking around confused, like, you know, where's my enemy? I don't know where they are. I'm excited. We're getting a lot closer to catching the commentaries up to where Elly actually is in the game. She hasn't finished the game yet. She hasn't opened the kiln yet even, but she is pretty close. She's almost completely satiated of the Lord Vessel, and all that, of course, is on video just waiting to be watched, so I need to get to that. Now, just for those of you who are watching this video, I'll keep you guys posted on my situation. I will be unable to upload commentaries for several days because I will be out of town. That's no problem. That's absolutely fine, but you know, you won't see an update here for a little bit because I will be out of town and unable to upload anything. I'm at winter retreat with the RAs, and my good buddy Flesh, who's also putting up gameplay videos up, so if you want to check him out, go ahead. His account is like Flesh Mechanic 0, because I guess Flesh Mechanic was taken. So if you guys want to check that out, that'd be great. I would link him in my channel, but his channel doesn't let me link him because of some setting he has, and he hasn't fixed it yet, but I'm sure he will. So he's got some Dark Souls stuff too, and some Arkham City, so his commentary style isn't like mine, so I don't know if I can, if you like mine, I don't know if you can recommend, I can recommend his, but I know it's very good, so you know, check that out if you feel so inclined. With that said, here's of course the main gate, which sometimes is, you know, it's funny, sometimes when I invade people, it's like they've made it all the way to Ornstein, but they haven't opened that gate. Sometimes people just refuse to open that gate. I guess it's because when people like me invade them, it makes them easier to reach if that gate is open, but that just feels inconsequential because I actually, as the invader, can determine where I invade from. It's not a random assignment. Like, there's numerous points you can invade into the level, and your location in which you use your cracked red eye orb or dark moon orb, whatever you're using, orb of the guilty, you will invade at the spawn point closest to where you used it. So if I feel as though people are going to have that gate closed a lot, I can just change my spawn somewhere else. It's really not a big deal, but maybe some people prefer it closed. That's all cool. I just kind of find myself pondering the question why. Of course, I've already at this point decided I'm going to be going back to the bonfire, and I'm just beating these guys down for the experience, and I guess just to say I did. I really like those Elite Knight guys. They're of course just like another Giant's Guard, but they can cast Emit Force and stuff like that. And one of the coolest in the game, although, see, there it is, Emit Force. I guess it's probably actually Wrath of Gods, because your Force Wave doesn't do any damage yet, theirs does, so they probably have a really toned back version of Wrath of Gods. In any case, when the video picks up here, we'll be invading Laurtrec. I edited out my trip back to the bonfire because the video length was already getting pretty long, and you know, I like to try to keep them as short as I reasonably can while not cutting out important content. You know, that's why I didn't show the painted world and stuff like that. There's just nothing there that I thought would be that entertaining to watch. Oh, and by the way, I do take request videos for Dark Souls. If I have a character made that can meet the request, I've got all that stuff put together. Of course, this is a 3v1 fight, so AoE is really nifty. Being good with your backstabs. What's fun about this is it kind of preps you. It's not uncommon that when you invade someone, they may have 1 to 2 friends guarding them or just 2 strangers guarding them, because they can summon up to 2 phantoms to protect them. So it's important to keep in mind that you could for sure wind up having a PvP against more than one opponent. And I have a 3v1 gameplay I'm going to put up. I've only had 1 3v1 encounter so far, so I've been lucky in that, because I have done quite a few invasions at this point. Of course, there I pop a couple Wraths to cut down their numbers. Once again, I'm a little tired of people saying that Wrath is like the noob sauce spell. I mean, if you're going to level Faith, I think that's one of the big advantages of Faith. Just like if you're leveling Intelligence, one of the big advantages is, homing Crystal Soul Mass. Use what's at your disposal. It's not like I'm using Tranquil Walk of Peace or something really unfair like that. Of course, I wanted to parry him just for the stylish takedown. Thanks, Laurtrec. You were fun and interesting story. And you get a souvenir of reprisal. What's nice about that is those are the items you have to level up the Dark Moon Covenant with. So there's one right there, and you can get one from Snuggly the Crow. Then you can get the rest from invading, or you can actually farm harpies in the Painted World to get them, which, by the way, can kind of suck. Here's Ornstein and Smog, and I'm going to go quiet for that fight. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the boss fight there. I, of course, intentionally cut out the commentary because, first, I think the soundtrack for that boss fight is absolutely amazing, but even more so, like I said, having the fully upgraded Pyromancy's Ascended Flame at +5 really makes that fight sort of trivial. And of course, I try to use the Divine S stock there just to show I can sword fight him, and the trick with that fight, if you're not overgeared, is just to be patient. Don't rush in and try to grab attacks. It doesn't work. You know, they're ready to deal with you, so just play cautiously. It's not as bad as a lot of players make it out to be. Just, you know, and also enjoy that fight. I mean, even losing that fight should be a pleasure. I think the soundtrack's awesome, and the fight is fun, and it has that nice epic feel, like it's a true battle of champions. And I'm just sort of showing you around the area after the boss battle there. Of course, Guinevere's up ahead. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me for these long commentaries, those of you that do. That armor set, the favor set, will only appear if you've defeated Laurtrec, by the way. I mean, that's as I understand it, but I know these commentaries are long, and I know they're not always completely gameplay related, but you know, I try to keep it interesting for, you know, sort of a variety style of commentary where if I was always talking about gameplay or I was always talking about non-gameplay, I'd sort of bore myself to tears, so I think the mix is nice. And of course, here's Guinevere, yes, the 900 jokes. I think if you haven't seen her before, the conversation, just looking at her should... That's actually a pretty funny message. I think the joke should be self-evident. I don't need to go into it. And of course, I'll just show the dialogue with Guinevere here. Of course, I'm going to talk over it, so I don't know, how valuable that will be. I guess it'll give you the opportunity to read the subtext over my voice, which might be getting a little sore here after 30 minutes of talking without pause, but I really enjoyed my Anor Londo commentary here. I just took a drink of water. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Anor Londo is probably my favorite area to get through in the game, aside from the White Knight, the double White Knight Archer kill zone on the ramp up to the entry to the castle, which is one of probably the most annoying places in the game, one of like the top 5. I'm actually starting an intelligence-based caster at the same time I'm doing Elly, and fortunately she's just finished up Blighttown, so... or he rather, Krellian is his name. He's just finished through Blighttown, and he's obviously not getting the screen time that Elly is, nor will he probably get any. 125, he'll get more PvP. My ultimate goal for this channel right now, for my Dark Souls stuff, is, the Call of Duty stuff's self-evident. I go rage and play matches on Modern Warfare 3. That's pretty self-evident. Right now I'm waiting for sort of another game to come out that I want to commentate. Probably maybe another kind of action RPG, which might just be Dark Souls. I might just upload a ton of Dark Souls videos. I would not mind getting a little, feedback in the comments of what you guys might want to see. Those of you that are watching these regularly, like, what do you think would be fun to watch? I try to do some fringe games. I did Armored Core for Answer uncommentated, and that didn't go over so well. No one really seemed to get that into that game. Not enough people play it, and no commentary. And I think most of the people watching this channel are in here for the commentary. So I don't know what game we're going to do next. We've got a lot of Dark Souls stuff to go, though. I mean, we probably have another at least 40 videos for Elly by the time it's all said and done, because I refuse to not show the entire Crystal Cave on a gameplay commentary, because I have to share my misery as I play it, post-commentary or not. Even watching it makes me cringe, so, gotta grind out those areas with Elly. So, plenty left to show, plenty left to do, lots saved up on my hard drive, so the videos are going to keep coming. Of course, like I said, I'll be going to Winter Retreat, and that'll keep me off the commentating for a while, which might be a good thing. Break can be a bit of a refresher. I've tried to put up a lot of these recently. The channel took a slow dive there a couple months ago. For a couple months, probably 4 months ago, I stopped putting up regular content. And now I'm obviously putting up a lot more content than I used to, and I've picked up some subscribers. I've got more positive feedback. All the things I wanted for this channel all along have come from more regular uploads. I don't know if they're always going to be as consistent as they are now. I mean, classes just picked up again, and I've got a significant load of homework like all graduate students, but I know I'm really enjoying doing these commentaries, particularly now that I'm doing more variety outside of Call of Duty. So more to come, lots more to come. If anyone has a game they think I should try picking up, let me know. I'm on a limited budget, though, so I can't pick up 5 games and commentate all of them. Of course, now I'm going to revive the Firekeeper because I'm a nice guy, and I'm not going to consume her soul to increase my Estus flask. Although eventually that will be something I need to do. Maybe before I finish Gwen in this playthrough, I'll go on a killing spree and kill all the Firekeepers to fully enforce my flask. You know, sin like crazy before my playthrough ends. I feel bad for her. You know, first they tell you she can't talk at all, then you find out she can talk, but you know she's got a quote-unquote unclean tongue, and she just isn't much of a talker, and I guess that's fine. Nothing wrong with the quiet bunch. I'm actually kind of the quiet. I'm kind of the quiet sort. Outside of my comfort zone, I'm pretty shy guy. But in these commentaries, you know, I'm in my comfort zone, and you know that's that. My next gameplay commentary, I'm probably gonna try to do my Dark Moon PvP fights. Now, mind you, they won't be the most high-level PvP. I'll be invading sort of a lower-level group of PvP players, and I'll be a lower-level PvP player myself. I won't be backstabbing as much as I should. But we'll get there when we get there. I'd like to thank everyone for watching as always. You know, feel free to keep watching if you like my stuff. Alright, everyone, take care.